From eating 14 cream buns in one night to getting mauled by monkeys to literally dying on the toilet. This is absurd ways world leaders died explained, and in some cases, their final words. Our first story takes us to Sweden. King Adolf Frederick isn't remembered as a brilliant ruler or as a mighty warrior. His claim to fame was his stomach. On February 12, 1771, he sat down to what might be the deadliest cheat meal in history. Lobster, caviar, sauerkraut, smoked herring, champagne. It already sounded like trouble. But then came dessert. Semla, a traditional Nordic sweet bun made out of cardamom spice dough filled with almond paste and whipped cream and topped with a dusting of powdered sugar. Washed down with warm milk, delicious. The thing is, he didn't stop at 1 or 2 or 5, he devoured 14. That night, his stomach gave up, and so did he. He collapsed according to the official cause of death from fatal indigestion. He didn't leave us any final words, probably because his last sound was a burp. Only the legacy of being the king who ate himself to death. And if desserts can kill a king, wait until you hear about the guy who conquered Europe only to be defeated by a nosebleed. Attila the Hun, the scourge of God, was one of history's most feared warlords. He destroyed cities, crushed empires, and basically made Europe wet itself. He was so feared that entire nations surrendered at the sound of his name. People thought nothing could stop him. But when it came time for his death, it wasn't on the battlefield. It was in the bedroom on his wedding night. Attila drank himself into oblivion. He stumbled into bed, passed out, got a massive nosebleed, and because he was lying on his back, he drowned in his own blood. Literally. No last words, no epic speech. His soldiers suspected poison, but this is another story. Fast forward to the 20th century. King Alexander of Greece was only 27, young, charismatic, and completely unprepared for how he would meet his fate that day. He was walking his dog in the royal gardens when it got into a fight with 2 pet monkeys. Alexander jumped in to break it up, but the monkeys turned on him instead, biting his legs and stomach repeatedly. At first the wounds seemed minor, but infection set in. Weeks later, he was dead. His last recorded words to his doctors were, "I feel weak, save me." Spoiler alert, you guessed it, they did not. Historians even say this accident changed the course of history and the country's future forever, creating a political crisis that spiraled into national chaos. So yeah, 2 monkeys basically altered world history. But if animals can take down kings, bathrooms have claimed just as many. Meet King George II. He ruled Britain during a time of empire building and lived to 76. A pretty good run for the 1700s, seriously. But aside from that, he wasn't a particularly remarkable monarch. Instead, he earned his spot in the limelight of history thanks to one very undignified death, I guess. On the morning of October 25th, 1760, in Kensington Palace, London, while sitting there on the royal toilet, he suffered a sudden aortic dissection, or in short, his heart ruptured, and died instantly. He had literally died on the throne. No profound last words, no farewell speech, just the ultimate version of a royal flush. But King George wasn't the first royal bathroom casualty. Centuries earlier, another British king, and according to legend, met an even nastier fate while using the privy. King Edmund Ironside of England was known as a fierce warrior, battling Viking invaders and earning his nickname by sheer toughness. But toughness doesn't help you in the bathroom. Legend has it that while relieving himself, an assassin hid beneath his toilet and stabbed him from below. The King of England killed mid-wipe. And if you wonder about the assassin, yeah, me too.
Freaking unbelievable!
No last words, no glory, just the worst medieval bathroom review ever. From bad bathrooms to bad architecture, meet Pope John the 21st. He was a brilliant scholar and physician. Obsessed with science and study, he designed himself a private room with a brand new ceiling. Only 8 months into his papacy though, the building came down, right on top of him. He was pulled from the rubble alive, but died 6 days later. A tragic end, and probably the universe's worst case of bad timing. And now a small jump in history. On the afternoon of November 25th, 1135, King Henry I of England returned to his lodge at Lyon-la-Forêt after a long day of hunting and decided to treat himself to some seafood. He loved lamprey eels. Disgusting, parasitic, slimy, blood-sucking fish that look like something evolution meant to delete. His doctors begged him to stop eating them. Henry's reply? Nah, bring me more. He demanded and ate a massive eel feast anyway. He ate until he was sick, and soon after he died of food poisoning. The king who once ruled with an iron fist was taken down by a plate of prehistoric sushi. And now, modern times. Joseph Stalin, one of history's most terrifying dictators, ruled the Soviet Union with an iron fist, feared even by his closest allies, and died alone in his room. After a long movie night with his inner circle, Stalin collapsed from a stroke in his private quarters. When he didn't appear the next morning, his guards grew worried. But none dared to enter, because waking Stalin without permission could mean execution. Only after hours of silence did they finally go in to find him on the floor, and even then, no one dared to call a doctor without permission, so they waited. Again. By the time anyone acted, it was too late. He never spoke again. The man who ruled by terror was undone by the very fear he created. For our final story, we close out with Benito Mussolini, the fascist leader of Italy. At the end of World War II, he tried to flee Italy in disguise, but was captured by partisans. Before being shot, he reportedly told his captors, "Shoot me in the chest." He got his wish. But that wasn't the end. Afterwards, his body was strung up in Milan's main square, where furious citizens spat on it, threw rocks, and even beat and kicked the corpse. From dictator to public punching bag, Mussolini's end was brutal but fitting. So, and there you have it. World leaders who went out in ways both tragic and absurd. If history teaches us anything, it's that no matter how powerful you are, death doesn't care. It might come with glory on the battlefield, or it might sneak up with dessert, bad architecture, or a monkey bite.